Flying around the world solo in an aircraft. I mean, who would want to do something like that? Stupid COVID. Now, it's one thing to want to fly yourself around the world solo in an aircraft. It's another thing to want to do that when you're still a teenager. Now, the world record for the youngest solo round the world pilot was actually held by an Australian a few years ago, a guy called Lockie Smart in 2016. That record was then broken in 2018 by an American pilot. And now in 2021, a UK-based pilot by the name of Travis Ludlow is attempting to break that record to become the youngest pilot to fly solo around the world. Travis!
Hi, Stefan. Hello.
Where on earth are you right now? In a hotel by the looks of it, but where are you?
Yeah, I'm in Montana right now.
Now, look, a little bit of background on Travis. You keep popping up in everyone's feed at the moment. I was down at the airport the other day. People were talking to me. Have you heard about this guy who's trying to fly around the world? Let the people know kind of a bit about your background and what it is you're attempting to do right now.
Well, a lot of people think that my family are all, they're all aviation, but I'm the only one in my family who flies. Started flying gliders. I had my first trial lesson in a glider when I was 12, which was really exciting. And I kind of got hooked onto it from there and continued my training, continued flying. Went solo in a glider when I was 14. Picked up my PPL on my 17th birthday. Now attempting to break the world record of the youngest person to fly solo around the world.
So who holds that right now? Whose record are you trying to beat?
Mason Andrews. He's from Louisiana. He was 18 and 163 days old.
And so what age are you now?
I'm 18 and about 135 days or something.
With a lot of people who look at doing a round the world flight, it's all about take as long as you can. You take 3 or 4 months, you stop everywhere, you get out and have a look around. But you've got a specific date that you need to get back before.
Yeah, so I need to be back by end of July. But actually, I'm well ahead of schedule. Yeah, I plan doing 4 to 4.5 hours of flying a day. I find that, that's too easy, I guess. I'm well ahead of schedule. Planned arrival date back in the UK, sometime beginning of July, so 2nd or 3rd of July. It's actually going really well so far. I haven't had many delays.
So where have you been so far?
From the Netherlands, flew over Germany to Poland, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, all those countries. Landed in Russia, in Pskov is the name of the airport. Did circled Moscow about 500 feet above ground level in Moscow. That's the lowest. They didn't allow me any higher, so here I am 500 feet above. So that was a bit scary, but no, that was really exciting. Well, it's a beautiful day here in Moscow. Just getting ready to fly to Yekaterinburg. Getting further and further away from home. Perfect day for it. Let me show you. Absolutely brilliant. Yak 40 over there. It's going to be a good flight. So, see you guys in the air.
I'm really curious to fly through Russia, and I think Russia gets a bit of a bad reputation sometimes, especially with some other pilots online. It has done in the past. The people I've dealt with in the past there have been incredible. I think you know Evgeny as well from Mac Aviation. You've been dealing with. I'm really looking forward to flying through there. I think it's really opening up to general aviation. And have you found the attitude towards you when you went through has actually been quite accepting?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, they're really supportive now of general aviation. I mean, they still find it unusual. They're like, they come up with these huge chocks, and they're like, oh, wait a minute, these don't fit on the plane. I don't really have contacts on the ground in Russia, and every time I land there, people offering to take me out for dinner or to give me something to stay. So they're really helpful. Yeah, I'm
curious to go. I really am. And all right, so talking about the plane then, so what are you flying?
Yeah, so I'm flying a 2001 Cessna 172. As an R model. It's been retrofitted basically with a brand new engine, but it now runs on Jet A, so it's really efficient. It burns 4 gallons an hour in cruise. So I have no ferry tank because I don't need one. Fuel capacity is slightly smaller because of Jet A is heavier than avgas. So I've got 44.6 gallons usable, basically over 10 hours of endurance.
I want to talk about COVID. I don't want to make a big deal of it because this is a really positive thing for you. Has it affected you at all on the trip so far?
To be honest, actually, not really. I mean, a lot of these places, it's like coronavirus isn't a big deal as long as you're a pilot. 2 worst places that it's been Poland and Canada. I had to make an unplanned fuel stop in Canada. I had some crazy headwinds.
Yeah, so what did you have? You had a 40-knot ground speed?
Yes, yeah. It got to 28 at some point because I had to call border control when I landed. And they said, okay, you're technically requesting to enter the country. So we're going to have to check to see if we can approve you or not. But hopefully what I'm hoping to do is, again, enter Canada for fuel stop. They reject me, and then I'll just continue flying to Greenland.
Well, I want to talk about the rest of your routing in a second. But just before that, you've obviously been through multiple flight information regions, different air traffic controllers. How have you find the radio operation and talking to the different ATCs along the way?
It's actually been very easy, to be honest. I've been doing most of it IFR, so obviously you're getting handed over all the time. Apart from that, the hardest parts have been the accent differences and the lack of ATC coverage as well. A few times in Russia, I was flying over Siberian wilderness and had to relay my messages to the airliners flying overhead. I remember the first time I entered Russia, they operate in meters instead of feet. I remember I entered, I was like, okay, planning the approach into it. And they Russia, a lot of the time they don't really like you doing visual approaches if you're coming in IFR. They cleared me down and they said, okay, you're clear to descend 1,500 meters. And I was like, what is that in feet?
I've got an app on my phone which does those conversions. I'd be straight on that. I wouldn't be able to do it in my head.
I had an app on my phone as well, so I was just like, I forgot I've got an app here, so I pulled it up. I use Jeppesen plates, approach plates. That's another thing that's been super helpful because it standardized across the world.
And what have you been doing for accommodation on the way around as well then? So have you just been booking stuff as you go along, or have you been pre-planning that?
I have been pre-planning it a few times. I've wasted a bit of money because I thought I could make it, then I had to divert somewhere. Also, I got a few people who've put me up to stay, have been helpful. Got some friends for accommodation, so that's been really great as well.
Good man. And so where next? What's the next stop? You mentioned Canada and then Greenland. How are you getting home?
Well, the next stop tomorrow is Phoenix, Arizona. Landing at Deer Valley Airport because I got my instrument rating in Phoenix, Arizona. Not the best place because it's like clear blue skies almost all the day. And from there, I'm essentially going to continue zigzagging across the states because I need to fly a minimum of 21,520 miles. Then from there, it's Canada, Greenland, Iceland, Scotland, and then back home to the UK. That's the routing.
Have you got a date in mind which is sitting there in your head?
My goal arrival date is the 3rd of July. That's when I'm planning to get back. I'm not sure if you know, I was planning to fly around the world last year at 17. Coronavirus was a big issue, was a big deal, and still is. But actually, it's been not as bad as I thought it was. I thought all these places would want me to quarantine. I'd have to, hassle my way out of not giving the quarantine. When you go and it's all settled down a lot more, and you're not going to be rushed at all. You're in a faster plane as well. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot better for you.
Well, yeah. Hopefully one day it will happen. I keep. I talk to you with a healthy mix of admiration, respect, and deep envy as well right now, because for people like me, for other people watching, people who have had plans that may have been cancelled, not as big as around the world necessarily, but whatever they were. It's really encouraging and really admirable to see someone, especially if your age, Travis, like doing something like this.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah. I mean, I've been watching your YouTube channel as well for such a long time as well. So,
well, hopefully there'll be some content outside of Australia at some point in the future, but we'll see if we get there. You've got your Instagram account, which obviously people can see now to follow you here. You have a website as well, though, with live tracking.
The website is www.aroundtheworldsolo.co, so that's .co.uk.
And what now? Are you going to have some dinner now? Is it bedtime? What's happening now?
I'm just looking at the flight plan for tomorrow. I'm not sure if I could turn the camera around, but I was just looking at the flight plan, and 800 miles exactly. The flight is.
Are distances like that just natural to you now?
Yeah, it is. I remember the first flight to the Netherlands. That was 2.5 hours, and I remember thinking, oh, this is such a long flight. But now, I feel like for me, a short flight is 5 hours.
My old flying instructor, Steve, who taught me my instrument rating, he described it as ripples in the pond. He says when you first get your instrument rating, it's like dropping a stone in the water. You go out and you come back. And then the next time you go a bit further and you come back. And he said, before you know it, you're flying to Sydney and back, which I do. And then before you know it, someone like you're planning 800-mile legs. And that's just another day of flying for you. But yeah, go get that record, Travis. We're all behind you.
Thank you.
Stay safe, take care, and thanks for joining me on this call.
No problem. Thank you for having me on, and we'll keep in touch.
All right. Thanks, Travis.
Thank you.
See you, mate.
See ya.